Night one saw 3 different champions in 3 competitions. The Blue Oval fraternity owned the field in skills and swept racing. A hard-fought freestyle competition went to the only Jeep in the field. After having Saturday off for winter weather, the Maryland Monsters are keyed up for a restart to this 3-show weekend. Eastern Shore here in historic Salisbury, Maryland on a Sunday afternoon. 2 shows to go here near the Del Mar border. After having to wait out emergency weather conditions on Saturday, the Monsters are ready for another run in this legendary arena, the Wacomico Civic Center here in Salisbury, and 7 monster trucks ready to go at it. 7 of the best the Old Lang State has to offer, getting ready to compete in skills competition, racing, and freestyle. And we brought in the tough trucks. They're going to compete in Chicago-style racing. Same track the Monsters are on, actually. We'll see how much hang time those guys get tonight. First, though, we'll start things off with skills competition. First up, out of Front Royal, Virginia, driving the big bad cool bus out of Hagerstown, Maryland, Richie Yatsko. Higher education. This machine just recently had a complete overhaul of the suspension. Truck seems to be working pretty good. They still haven't really put that big air underneath of it, but as they get the feel for it, as they get used to what it does and dial it back in, I guarantee you, you're going to see some massive hang time out of this big bad cool bus from Maryland. A strong showing here to open up skills competition for Yatsko. The cool bus with the overtime shocks and the Ford racing engine inside of the chopped bus body. A score of 16, a strong showing. Probably not going to hold out for the win with the field we've got here, but nothing to be ashamed of. Up next, the legend, Mike Vodders, the patriarch of the Vodders Motorsports clan out of Hagerstown, Maryland, the safety clean black stallion. Mike has been through just about, if not every, evolution of this incredible industry, and this truck right here was his own personal culmination of many, many years of R&D with some of the best and worst equipment. Right there, he got on the brakes, gets a combo move out of that, kind of a mini stoppie off of the end of the pod there. Nice sky wheelie to open things up. We'll see what he has for his second move as he climbs atop the pod. Looks like he's going for the stoppie. Showing the new generation he can come out here and play with him. Mike Vodders. Not wanting to leave too much on the table for the field behind him. He is definitely going to raise the bar here this afternoon in Salisbury. Watch him again. This was that sky wheelie, and he kind of tested the waters as he left the pod. Look at that, a score of 26 by 10 points. Takes the lead big time, and he's going to need all 10 of those points because there's some heavy hitters coming up behind him now out of Frederick, Maryland. Corey Snyder in Toxic 2.0, the first of the Metal Shop Signature Series chassis to come out of the Del Mar, Delaware shop. Corey ready to put the foot to it. Let's see what he can do. Well, something going away on that truck now. He shut that truck off. It didn't actually die right there. So, crew running out to find out what happened. The truck did not go dead. Just got very quiet all of a sudden. There you see Kevin Rico. Okay, just heard word from Jeff Bursey, the track announcer, that the blower belt came off of that truck, so that is why that engine got real quiet. There you see the blower belt. Jay Snyder, owner of Warp Motorsports and the Toxic Machines, running back to, I guess, fetch some more parts. I have a feeling they'll be back in this. Corey Snyder headed over to talk to Jeff Bursey.
Corey, man, that is a tough break. You got such a beautiful machine, a truck that is always on point. And that $75 blow belt just cost you a run. And it is what it is. Stuff happens. I was ready to go rock and rolling, because I know we're all kind of getting stir crazy from yesterday, not being able to do a show. Just wanted to go out there and put on a good show, but stuff happens, parts break. You can be a brand new blower belt, and things happen. Anybody that's in motorsports knows the deal, but we'll get her fixed up and come right back at her. No doubt about it. Corey Snyder and Team Toxic.
We're going to take another look and listen at this run, and listen to the engine. You'll actually hear it did not go silent. It's hard to hear, but there was a change in the engine note there. He actually reached up and cut the power, but that is the sound of that big 557 cubic inch racing engine going from a full-blown motor to naturally aspirated in an instant. So we get back into action as they tow Toxic over into the tunnel. They're going to try to get that truck ready for racing. In the meantime, here comes another legend, Trey Myers out of Brunswick, Maryland, and the Iron Warrior, a name that he really made famous in the early 2000s when he purchased the original Iron Warrior, the cantilever truck from Glenn Bolin out of Florida. Now part of the Voders Motorsports team. It's been on a couple different chassis, the namesake anyway. Now on this new in 2019 Eddie Majka chassis that has definitely been proving itself a worthy piece of equipment with a couple of different drivers at the wheel. That includes Christian Norman, and now what fans call the OG Iron Warrior driver, Trey Myers. Getting some nice wheel stands right there to start things off. Strong run, probably not going to take the lead, but nothing to be ashamed of. Score of 20, as I said, strong. We move on in the competition. As we take a look down there, you see work continues on Toxic. They are hustling right now. Not only do they need to get that truck ready for racing, they've got to get it out of that tunnel, because that's where the tough trucks will be coming in later. So we bring out our next competitor, RJ Turner, out of Knoxville, Maryland, filling in for Mikey Voders, who's waiting out restrictions. Overkill Evolution. Nice wheelie on top of the pod. Two weeks in on this No Limits Tour. This guy's definitely upholding this namesake. Let's see what he can do here. Working his way to getting that into that moonwalk. He's looking for it. I know he's capable of it. He hasn't quite gotten it where he wants it, but keep in mind, the truck he normally drives, War Wizard, as you see the score come up, he tied his boss, Mike Voders, so that's going to make things interesting. But as I was saying, the truck RJ normally drives has a spool front and rear. This truck has a locker in the rear and an open front end. Definitely different to get used to. In the meantime, here comes another legend, Rick Disharoon, in the brand new Smokin'. Debuted last year, taking a wild ride up on top of the pod as he lands on the left front tire. See what Rick has. The big GMC out of Delmar, Maryland. Not quite what he was looking for, but not a bad run for Rick Disharoon out of Delmar, Maryland. And I do believe they changed the gearing in that truck from the setup they had here on Friday evening. A score of 18 for Disharoon. Nothing to be ashamed of, but I know he wanted a little more. Believe me, he and Ryan have been talking back and forth. That truck will fly through this building before the end of this weekend. They got one more show here later tonight, so we'll see what he's got as Ryan Disharoon comes flying out in the Saigon Shaker. Didn't get quite what he was looking for out of the pod, but he got some big hang time off of the racing lanes. Going to get real interesting when we go into Chicago-style racing here in a few minutes. A score of 24, not going to be enough, but you see right there how steep those racing ramps are. As we have a little situation here. We have a tie between teammates.
I want you to cheer on your favorite. Ladies and gentlemen, who thinks your skills contest winner should be Mike Butters and Black Stallion? How many people think your skills contest winner should be RJ Turner and Overkill Evolution?
Crowd going with Overkill. Points matter, but we ended up in a cheer-off. The judges could not decide. Made about the same run, so it was a fair score. Both of them running 26s. Hey, Tough Trucks are coming up next. Stay with us when we come back to Salisbury.
This Back Channel Productions program is brought to you in part by Monsters Monthly. For up-to-date info, media, and all your other monster truck needs, visit monstersmonthly.com. And by RPM Army. For a wide array of content from across the motorsports world, visit rpmarmy.com, your high-performance fix on the go. This Back Channel Productions program is brought to you in part by Crush This. For a look inside the world of monster trucks, check out Crush This, a monster truck podcast.
There you see Corey Snyder in Toxic. They've got a new blower belt on there. He's rolling back toward his spot over in the hot pits as we get ready for Tough Truck racing here at the Wacomico Civic Center out on the Eastern Shore. There you see our competition director, Robbie Williams, on the radio. Getting the skid steers cleared. We get ready to bring out our first pair in Chicago-style Tough Truck racing. If you saw our last edition, these guys ran one at a time, and we tore up some trucks and some cars. So we're down some competitors here today, but they're going to go into a bracket-style single elimination competition. First up, Mike Whittick in the chopped Jeep, a little black Grand Cherokee on the far side. He goes up against Chris Weiss out of the Old Dominion and the White Ranger. Ranger with the lead right now. Whittick has been quick this weekend. Big hang time out of the Ranger. But immediately the engine goes silent, and Mike Whittick with a hard hit coming over the finish line will take that first round victory. The Ranger rolling to a stop. We'll watch it again. Watch the hit he takes off of the second jump at the top of your screen. Lands on the left front, and the word we get is a battery cable came off. So all they had to do was reattach it, and he drove himself right off the track. Up next, the Battle of the Rosses. See Robert Ross there in the little XJ covered in snow. As I said, well, it looks like Weiss could not drive off the track. They're having to push him right now. He's down there trying to reconnect that cable, but it looks like they're going to go ahead and tow him off. Don't think he's going to be back even as a fast loser. Obviously lost that race to Mike Whittick. In the meantime, the Jeep, Robert Ross, the bedless pickup. That is Dylan Ross. Both these guys got wild yesterday. Look at Robert putting the front end in the air. Dylan trying a dirt track. big leap right there. He stuffs the front end, and Robert Ross looks like he's going to take this one with a very commanding victory. He's going to drive right past Dylan, leaving a trail of snow all over the track. Well, they got that little pickup refired. A little worse for wear, but he put on his show while he was out here. Thing doesn't sound real good right now, and Robert gonna have to push him off the track. Watch this leap again. Hits hard on the front end. Not sure what came loose there, but I'm pretty sure he shook his fillings loose on that one. Up next, Sam Hall, sitting at the starting line, waiting on his competition. It looks like Mike Whittick is going to come right back to the line. In fact, we get word Sam Hall forgoes his round one competition because his opponent, I'm not sure who that was, but his opponent couldn't fire, so we go right to the semifinal round. He gets a bye into the semifinal round to face off with Mike Whittick, who beat Chris Weiss and is slow coming off the starting line. The Grand Cherokee, the full-body Grand Cherokee, way out in front, but he takes a hard hit. Whittick trying to take advantage of it. Very, very close between the two Jeeps. Waiting on word right now who actually got that win. It looked like Hall had the edge, but Whittick by about 3 inches is going to pick up that victory and move on to the championship round, and that's coming right up. We had another truck not able to make it back into action. That means we go right to this championship race, and Whittick is putting a hurting on that little black Jeep as he takes on Robert Ross in the snow-covered XJ. Ross is moving right now. I can't believe there's any snow left on that truck as hard as he's rocked it. Look at that as he comes across the finish line. Robert Ross with a flying leap will pick up the victory. That thing looks good enough to drive home, as much punishment as he's put it through here this weekend. That'll wrap up the tough trucks very quickly, but the monster trucks hit the track for round one of racing when we come back to Salisbury.
Listen up. It doesn't matter if you just watched your first show or you're a longtime fan of the sport and you want to know more about monster trucks, well, tune into the Throttle Out Show on Monday and Thursday nights, live on our YouTube channel at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. You'll get the inside scoop and all the behind-the-scenes footage in monster trucks and soon-to-be all other motorsports. Life is better when your foot is to the floor, so remember, when in doubt, throttle out.
The great Tar Heel tradition continues. Carroll Jones Memorial Scooby-Doo Fastest of the Fast and Blown Alcohol Madness return to the Lee County Mud Motorsports Complex, April 22nd and 23rd, featuring an all-out assault in one of the most tradition-rich hill and hole pits in the country, along with the quickest, fastest open class and modified machines on the fast track. 2 days of down and dirty action. Don't miss your chance to see the return of the Fastest of the Fast and Blown Alcohol Madness, April 22nd and 23rd.
Back with you here in Salisbury, Maryland, out on the Eastern Shore in the Wacomico Civic Center, getting ready for round number 1 of Chicago-style monster truck racing. Here's a look at our round 1 bracket. Overkill Evolution already seeded into the semifinal round by virtue of being the skills competition winner, just like he did on Friday. We'll see if he can make it further here tonight. Then it's Toxic 2.0 taking on Black Stallion. Higher Education against the Saigon Shaker. And a pair of old guns in the sport, Smokin' and Iron Warrior, Rick Disharoon against Trey Myers. And don't think I just called those two guys old as we bring our first pair to the line. Toxic 2.0 staging up Corey Snyder out of Frederick, Maryland, taking on Mike Vodders, who just mowed down the turning post on his way to the starting line. Safety clean Black Stallion. This guy has been instrumental in developing a lot of the suspension technology that you see today. He was there in the infancy of these long travel shocks and had his hands on a lot of different equipment that helped bring these trucks into this new millennium of monster truck competition. And really over a career of 40 years, these trucks just would not be where they are without help from this guy. But right now, he's going to battle his former employee, Corey Snyder, who at one point drove that big school bus. Corey Snyder in Toxic, taking on Mike Potter Sr. in the Black Stallion. Tremendous first leg for both, but Snyder with a big lead right now. Problems for Black Stallion as he gets into the pod. It is all Toxic in this round one race here in Salisbury. Another look at it on the replay again. Both of them with a great start, but after this first turn, it looks like Potter's got hung up in that loam, that beach sand up there on the top of your screen. I don't know if that side's going away or not, or maybe the steering was slow to return. I'm not sure. Have to keep an eye on those corners as the competition goes on now, as another pair of machines rolls to the line. There you see the Saigon Shaker, the big Jeep Kaiser out of the metal shop camp, taking on another one of the Votters Motorsports machines, Richie Yatsko. In the higher education cool bus, they wait on green. Big jump for the Saigon Shaker. Look at Richie, though, trying to push those corners in the bus. Way behind, though, the victory will go to the Shaker, and look at that. Yatsko getting loose in this corner. They've had some rear steering problems in the Votters camp here this week, and I'm not sure if that's catching up with them here or if it's just the track going away, but it looked like the Jeep had a definitive command of this Chicago-style course in both corners, so we'll wait and see. It may be tire choice right now that's making the difference as Trey Myers comes to the line to stage against Rick Disharoon and Smoke in the final matchup of round number one, about to get underway. Both of them with trouble over the second jump. Disharoon, though, recovers first. He'll be first across the line, but he's in trouble into the bus. Myers is into the wall. Going hard for the victory here in round number one, and both trucks end up going off the track. Luckily, they got them shut down. As you see the Votters Motorsports camp checking on Trey Myers. He took a hard hit coming across the finish line. Watch again, both of them got in trouble on this second jump. Both of them pretty much with the same problem. The rear end starts coming around. They did not hit that jump true, but watch Disharoon to the right of your screen. He missed that last ramp with the right front tire and got into the school bus. Now, watch Iron Warrior on this, because I believe they may have shut him off in the air, and when the truck hit, he broke the left front axle. Yeah, that truck died in the air. That's what caused it to nose over, and now we're going to look at Disharoon coming across the finish line. He will move on due to the breakage on Iron Warrior, but look at this. Right into the school bus. That's why they do not let people stand beside those trucks during competition. A wild, wild way to finish off round number one, but everybody's A-okay. No harm, no foul in terms of bodily damage, but we do have some hurt trucks over there as Overkill Evolution will come out now to face Toxic 2.0, and then a battle of father and son, two metal shop machines, the Saigon Shaker taking on Smokin'. We'll see if Disharoon suffered any damage. They were down there checking that truck out right after that run. That wild round one pass between Iron Warrior and Smokin'. Hopefully we don't have any more of those. That got a little scary there for a second, but now a battle of Ford-bodied machines, both out of the state of Maryland. RJ Turner and Overkill Evolution, your skills competition winner, trying to knock off last night's racing winner, Corey Snyder in Toxic. Snyder looking good around that first corner, a little wide there, but he apexes beautifully. And Toxic will pick up a racing victory and move into his second final round race of the weekend. This has been a good weekend for these guys so far, in spite of that little blower belt incident during the skills competition. Looks like they're going to bounce back from it, no problem. Things kind of shaping up to be the same here as they were on Friday. See, Snyder was just apexing those corners beautifully. Turner trying to get used to a new rear end setup. Again, a truck he's not totally used to. And as I've mentioned before, throughout the last couple of episodes, driving a truck with an open front end and the locker in the rear as opposed to the double spool setup that he has now, as we go back to the starting line. Saigon, Shaker, and Smokin', the final semi-final matchup. Beautiful corner for the Jeep Kaiser. Saigon moving mighty quick as he closes in. On Dad's tailgate, the GMC heads back to the pits to get ready for freestyle. It will not be a repeat of Friday night's final round. It was Smokin' taking on Toxic 2.0 on Friday night. This afternoon it will be Toxic 2.0 taking on Saigon Shaker. Disharoon trying to avenge the loss of his father. And keep in mind, Toxic 2.0 took him out in the semifinal round on Friday night. So here on Sunday, we will see if the Metal Shop can gain complete revenge on a truck that came out of that very garage in Del Mar, Delaware, just over the Del Mar border. Should be a good matchup. Very evenly matched trucks. There are differences between these two chassis, but from where we stand, they are negligible. The biggest difference is the driving style right now between these two. There is a tire difference. BKT's over here on the Jeep Kaiser, the Marchers on the Ford at the top of your screen, those China tires. We will see what these guys have for each other in this championship race. This should be a good one. Pick your favorite. It's anybody's ball game. The finals in Salisbury. Snyder with a lead. They're about dead even to the final quarter. Saigon Shaker picking up about a truck length victory at the end. But that thing is smoking right now. That truck has got to be getting hot after putting 3 full race passes on it with no break. Corey Snyder heading back to the pit area. See Disharoon smoking up a storm. I said that truck was getting hot. Definite problems on the Toxic machine. You saw him hit the throttle, the rear wheels spun, the front wheels didn't do anything. Hopefully that's just the drive shaft and nothing else. If he damaged anything inside the housing in the diff, he could be done for the weekend. A beautiful run for both those trucks. You have to wonder if that drive shaft is what cost Toxic that win, but these guys are now hustling as we take you behind the scenes. The race is now on. They have only about 15 minutes to pull this drive shaft out, replace it, make sure everything's nice and tight, and get it ready for freestyle. Not only because freestyle's coming up, but they have to clear the floor for competition. They cannot be down there underneath of that truck when these other trucks start running. And here you see the problems being handled over on Saigon Shaker. That red bucket was actually full of snow. They are packing snow and ice on top of that transmission housing, and they're going to turn that fan on and try to get the temperature down inside of that transmission. It is red hot. It was steaming when he came back here into the pit area. As I said, the race is on. Will these two trucks make freestyle? Stay with us to find out.
Hey, welcome to Wildman Adventures. We're at the Silver Lake Sand Dragway. There really wasn't any off-roading back then. It was all off-road. We're on our way to Lima, Ohio. Got wooden wheels.
Oh, it's slippery as all get out.
Hey, we're here with Rich Cummins. Hey, we're here with Mike Potter. Hey, we're here with Alan Pizzo. Gotta check it out. This week we're gonna go down memory lane.
Back with the No Limits Monster Truck Tour in Salisbury, Maryland. The Wacomico Civic Center getting ready for Monster Truck Freestyle. They have cleared the pits down there in the toxic stall and in the metal shop stall, but the question is, are those trucks fit for freestyle? We will find out very soon. Right now, Trey Myers out of Brunswick, Maryland heads out to start things off in the Eddie Majka chassis Iron Warrior Ford-powered, Ford-bodied machine out of Hagerstown. Just feeling the machine out right now. Keep in mind he's got damage in the front end. Doing a nice job though, in spite of having a broken left front axle. Trey at the wheel of this machine now for the, now it'll be the last 2 weeks, including this one, and getting the feel for it. It's good to see him back at the wheel of a monster truck. He's a guy that those of us in the Northeast, on the East Coast, one of the regulars we grew up with. And Trey looking good here in the new iron for the new millennium. Again, you see the consequence right there of having limited stopping power. Part of the reason he's really not pushing the truck as hard as he could. I know he wanted to put on a high-flying, high-speed performance here in the Iron Warrior, but again, limited stopping power with that broken left front corner. Working his way around. Getting some nice sky wheelies up onto the pod, though, starting things off strong. Definitely making it so you're going to have to put on a solid run to get in the upper crust here in the Wacomico Civic Center. Right there, though, trying to clear the pod. Doing a nice job setting the stage and definitely giving the rest of his team an idea of what this obstacle out center track is going to do as far as pitching you over the top. Score of 18. Strong run, but again, I don't know that it's going to keep him in the #1 spot for very long with the field of trucks coming up behind him. Here comes Richie Yatsko out of Front Royal, Virginia, driving the Higher Education Cool Bus out of Hagerstown, Maryland. .565 cubic inch Ford racing engine. Nestled inside the frame rails under that big bus body as Richie throws it around here, getting a little more comfortable with it each time. This team underwent probably the most changes of any of the larger independent teams during the off-season as they went through all of their trucks and dialed in the suspension. This one got a complete overhaul. No more air springs on each corner. Runs the full set of 2 bypass shocks per corner, so we'll see what he can do. Nice hang time off the race lane. Hitting what's left of the chalk lines out there. He got in a little trouble and lost his momentum. I'm not sure what happened, but Richie laying down a nice run in the Higher Education Cool Bus, and it looks like that's going to be it for the big bus out of Maryland. One more look at some of the highlights. He had some good hang time. I'm going to go ahead and guess that he's going to take the lead We'll wait and find out, but again, a really nice launch off of that race lane. He's got one more show to go to really try to cut this thing loose, and I'm sure did not want to hurt the equipment before this evening's event, but a nice job nonetheless. A score of 19, so he goes 1 point up on his teammate Trey Myers. Higher Education taking the lead over Iron Warrior now. Rick Disharoon. Delmar, Maryland in smoking. And keep in mind, when you watch Rick run, he has only had really one other major competition weekend on this truck, and it was outdoors. Getting after it a lot harder here than he did on Friday, and he and his team have been swapping information back and forth as he's watched Ryan run, and he already looks better here this afternoon than he did on Friday, going after it. Truck definitely seems to be working better today, too. As I said at the beginning, I think they re-geared this thing. Nice hit right there over on the left front for the second time. And now he's into the skid steer and the barricades. Rick very carefully trying to work his way out of there. There is a lot of sand piled up above the concrete. And if you drop off the side, it'll suck you over into those retractables, and they really don't want to do any damage to those. Rick Disharoon. Wrapping up his run with some excellent donuts. The big metal shop chassis GMC bodied machine laying it down. We will wait to see what the score is. Again, he's landing real hard on the front end. And that may just be him getting used to driving these trucks again. Remember, he had been out of the seat for quite some time until last summer, and then jumping back behind the wheel of a truck that very different from the one he was driving. A very more of a 90s style Patrick chassis machine that he had at the beginning of his monster truck career. Now, coming back into it, he does take the lead with a score of 23, driving a machine that his son designed. Trey Myers painted GMC body, beautiful truck. Now, speaking of Trey, back to the Vodders Motorsports team. Here comes Mike Vodders in the Black Stallion, the safety clean Ford out of Hagerstown. Mike, a legend in this sport. He and RJ Turner and the entire crew have gone completely through the suspensions on all four of their trucks to try to get them back to where they feel they should be. And Mike, who just recently recovered from, or is still recovering from surgery, back behind the wheel, in good spirits here this weekend. Minor surgery, but still, to be behind the wheel of one of these trucks getting bounced around like this, definitely living up to his legendary status here this week. And look at the hang time underneath the big Ford. The Roush Yates Performance Parts going to work here on the floor of the Wacomico Civic Center. Getting some nice hang time in this run here, and it looks like it's probably going to wrap it up. He got after RJ a little bit after Friday evening. Told him to hit it harder, clear that pod, quit tickling the throttle, and Mike giving a good indication as to what it's going to take to try to do that. Gave it plenty of throttle, a very, very strong freestyle. We'll wait and see what the score is. Again, tremendous hang time underneath those big 66s as he bounces down off the pod. May need to work on the shocks a little bit, but he said they're not hurting him. They may look a little bit bouncy, but the truck is working very, very well here in freestyle. A score of 23 to take the number one spot. Mike Vodders goes into the lead here in freestyle in Salisbury. 3 to go. Right now, we hear that Toxic should be out for freestyle. Stay with us. Salisbury, Maryland, the Wacomico Civic Center. There you see Toxic 2.0 rolling out. He has had a rough afternoon here. Blower belt basically took him out of the skills competition, then made it to the final round of racing, went down to Saigon Shaker. Broken front drive shaft. The question is the truck at 100%? He took a hard hit right there. Snyder getting right after it, wasting no time. Trying to work this floor to perfection. As you can see, he's landing off center. A lot of drivers say that helps absorb these landings a lot better. The truck lands a lot softer, although this beach sand is definitely helping as they are pounding away at it. Definitely looks like they were able to effect repairs as he takes the corner of the pod directly in the cradle and drivetrain. They dug a big chunk of sand out of it. Lining up for the side. Decent hit. That right there, though. I know he wanted to stand that thing straight up and down. He had to stop and back up, and that hurt his momentum. He's still getting after it, though. Corey Snyder in Toxic laying down a solid run. He's going to pull right off the track. A nice bunch of sky wheelies. Truck working real good here this weekend. None to be ashamed of. He will go into the lead by 4 points with a score of 27. Corey Snyder out of Frederick, Maryland. He knew he was going to have to go hard because right behind him, this legacy machine being driven by one of the new generation, R.J. Turner. There he goes, got the moonwalk. Let's see what he's got. Again, Mike told him he better clear that pod before the end of the weekend. R.J. ready to hit it hard. Nice hit right there. Oh, he's in trouble. Almost makes hard contact with those retractables. He just avoided disaster. Hard hit on the cage, though. Safety crew down there. You see rest of the team as well as some of the building staff, track crew. Even some of the metal shop, you see an EMT down there, actually. The crew very quickly to the cab, and we get word immediately he is A-OK. R.J. Turner giving a scare to some of the people here in this building. Bounced hard onto the cage. Another look at the highlights in this run. A good stop. He had spun a little bit, but he was able to work it into the moonwalk. RJ gave a wave through the front windshield there to Jeff Bursey. You hear the cheers in the background as everybody, again, real worried about him. He was just getting a really good, I believe that could have been a winning run had he been able to land that and turn it around. Watch what happens when he catches that left rear. It bounces onto the front. He tagged the brakes knowing he was headed toward the wall, and believe it or not, he shut that truck down before the safety crew could even get to the button inside the cab. That's how quick this guy is. And as close as it looks like he got, the building management said he never touched the wall, and he will take the freestyle lead. Even with 3 moves, the judges felt it was spectacular enough to go to the #1 spot. A wild, wild ride for Overkill Evolution here this weekend. Now our final freestyler, Ryan Disharoon, Saigon Shaker. Working that truck for everything it has, and he still has another show to go. Disharoon trying to win this freestyle. Look at that, trying to clear the pod. We're in trouble now. Unbelievable. Ryan Disharoon not able to drive it out. Waiting to hear if he's okay. Should be. Wasn't a very violent crash, but still working that truck. Okay, we get where he's A-okay. He's already climbing out of the truck. Ryan Disharoon again with those stoppies at high speed, getting on the brakes and locking it up. And then look at this. Which just lands on one tire. It's flying left. He's got it pointed right. When it comes down, the inertia kicks it back to the right. He lands on that right rear, and he actually blew that tire. He bent the rim. Let it go to the right. Got back into the throttle. Look at all the oil dumping to one side of the engine. Score of 30. A perfect score for Ryan Disharoon. He will pick up the freestyle victory. Here we look at it one more time. There you hear the tire go. Saw the camera move a little bit right there. Big congratulations to that team. This is basically a hometown show for them. They wanted to show off racing and freestyle victories, and another skills competition victory for RJ Turner in Overkill Evolution. We are not done yet, though. One more to go from here in Salisbury. We will see you then.